You are listening to the Let's Chat Soon podcast. We are so excited that you're embarking on this journey with us. Let's Chat Soon is a space where we chat all things body, soul, and spirit, and how when you align all three, you unlock a full life. A healthy you is the best gift you can give to grow the kingdom and to those you love. Hey, hey!
Welcome back to another week's episode.
I'm your host, Alexis.
And I am Mackenzie.
I'm excited because you're in the hot seat this time.
I am in the hot seat, and I just want to share everything.
We're getting all the tea on influencing today.
Which is crazy that I've been an influencer for 2 years full time.
Wow.
2 years.
That's a long
Woohoo!
time. You are like ahead of us. Like you're like the top, you know. I feel like everyone's like, I'm an influencer, but like you're an OG.
I don't, half the time I feel like an OG, the other time I don't. And also, I feel like people will look at my account and be like, she only has like 47,000 followers. But I've somehow made a sustainable income out of it.
And you have a community. I feel like that's different. Like there's different levels. We'll get into it, but yeah. Yeah. Okay, so give me background. Give me the story. Who were you before influencing? Did you know you were going to be an influencer?
Yes. Not actually. But yes. I was the 7-year-old who was running around with a camcorder camera, flipping it around, vlogging. Mm-hmm. Like legitimately vlogging. The same childhood. Yeah, exactly. Making my brother take videos of me. I was doing talent shows and I was paying my neighbors to come and watch me. Like
iconic. Oh my gosh.
Literally would just sit there and also like you, like I'm going to be a singer. I would sit there in my like Hannah Montana get up and legitimately pay these grown adults. Like, have them pay me money.
They probably loved it.
It was the best dollar. Like, I probably charged a singular dollar. I hope.
50 cents.
I hope. I'm like, $20 per each.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. This is iconic.
No, crazy. I, half the time, look back and I'm like, oh, my parents would have just let me post those videos.
Right?
I would have been like,
a YouTuber,
born. All the things. Mm-hmm. I'm glad they didn't let me post them, I will say. But
did you ever make, like, skits with your friends?
Oh, absolutely. And the thing about me was I liked being in front of the camera, but I equally loved being behind the camera.
Ooh,
where growing up, we had this like big baseball community. And I remember when Video Star was a thing. Oh my gosh.
I know what Video Star is.
I ate up Video Star. I literally ate it up. It was basically like you pick a song and you direct these little skits and make like music videos. That's kind of what the extent of it was. And I remember during a baseball tournament, I was like, we are going to do the best skit to Call Her Maybe. Call me maybe.
Call me maybe. I was like, call her daddy. Call me maybe. Call me
That's
maybe.
Exactly where my brain was. I'm like, call her daddy? Wow.
Yay. Oh, I love that.
That's really aged of Call Me Maybe to Call Her. Anyways.
I think that was my freshman initiation song. So like when I played college volleyball, we all had to stand up in front of the team and sing a song. I'm pretty sure that was it.
That's hilarious.
We were on the same wavelength.
It's a great song.
Well,
I was like 12, but
I was like 19. Anyways.
I remember taking every single sibling from like all of our brothers' baseball team and acting out every single part of this. This wasn't like we're going to do this during one baseball game. This was a 5 different baseball games and practices type
production.
of ordeal.
You're a business
was a whole
woman.
production.
You're putting it together.
Exactly. I was the director. I achieved that. It was the best video to ever exist. Nobody can find it now.
I was going to say,
nobody can find it.
We have to find the video. We have probably some good stalkers on the channel.
We didn't post it anywhere. It was on my Video Star account, and I don't know where it went. Also, rude of our parents not to post that all over Facebook.
Yeah,
because we should have been stars.
Oh, we need that content.
Safe to say, I've been doing some type of content all of my life. Okay. Legitimately all of my life. So when I was in high school, I randomly wanted to be a nurse. ? That's so strange. So weird. But similar thing. My mom was a nurse, so I figured, let's just fill those shoes. Sure. Yeah. Took an anatomy class, realized, that is not for me.
I should have taken that.
Took some business classes. Really liked that. Marketing came super easy to me. Decided I was going to be a marketing major. Took a couple of those math courses. I was out of there.
There's math? Ugh.
There's math.
Why?
And like economics too.
Oh.
The only like
bad grade. Are we crunching numbers? No, we're like advertising, right?
Only bad grade I've ever gotten in economics was in economics. It was during COVID, but I don't really know how they just like accepted that on my transcript, but they did. Thank you for letting my D pass at Georgia Southern. Really appreciate that one. Safe to say math was not my strong suit. I didn't want to take any more of those classes. had no idea what public relations was, and then decided to switch my major once I had learned it had a lot to do with writing, had a little bit to do with journalism, which I was also interested in, and then had the aspect of marketing too, and then social media as well. Realized kind of all of those things played into one another, and it was all things that I really liked to do. I'd loved writing at the time, wanted to be, honestly thought if I were to do another job, I would love to be a travel writer. I looked at so many jobs. I applied for so many jobs for like different airlines and things like that, of wanting to just like write. My dream job as a kid was I want to write for Travel Leisure. Maybe not as a kid, maybe a little bit older, but I loved that aspect of things. Everything to do with travel, writing, PR, all the things.
Yeah. That tracks, because your like POV videos, when you write out like, you know, those paragraphs that cover the video, they always make so much sense and like get to the point. I'm like, how does she do those?
Oh,
like,
thank you.
Very good at that. And your captions, a writer at heart.
Yeah, I love that Instagram has switched to the long captions because I had a blog for years because that's how this started. Okay. I was obsessed with all of the fashion bloggers back in the day. I followed so many of them, and I wanted to do something like that, but fashion was never really my thing. I dove into it a little bit in college, mostly because girls were affording clothes that I could simply not afford. And I'm always the kind of person who wants things not in the traditional way, like wants to get them not in the traditional way. I think it's like a game to me a little bit. Like I like being able to stay at hotels for free now, because I see it like a game of like, how many hotels can I stay at? Yeah. And I thought similarly with clothes, of how many clothes can I get in exchange for XYZ? I'm like, I'm willing to work for it. I just don't want to pay for it. Like, I don't know how I adapted that. It wasn't even really a thing. I was reaching out to Amazon sellers on Amazon and asking them, in exchange for a review, will you send me the clothes?
Smart.
That was not relatively a thing. I don't really know where I came up with that. But again, I just had the mindset of, I don't have money. Right. I'm broke. I'm in college. I'm working so many jobs, but I still don't really have money other than to pay for my gas. How can I get these things that I want?
That's scrappy.
Yeah.
I like that.
I definitely like, it helps a lot now in the space too.
Yeah. Yeah. So did you mean to become the influencer you are today? Or like, how did being the blogger and like getting closer for you, doing the Amazon reviews translate into like having a following, creating a community?
So I was doing that probably my sophomore and junior year of college. I'd always liked taking pictures, so I always was posting. My junior year of college, I decided to create a new Instagram account. I had my one from high school-ish, and honestly got hacked the day I graduated, which was crazy. Oh. But I started a new Instagram, decided to post it. I was juicing people places. I was that until just about a year ago. And was posting outfits, things like that. And then I studied abroad the summer before my last semester of school. And while I was there, I kind of had that realization again that I have an eye for this type of stuff. I was always placing people, and we would go and tour Santorini, and I'm like, no, stand right there. And girls are taking these pictures, and I'm like, what are you doing? Like
the ratio, the crop, the lighting.
Right, exactly. I'm like, take it here. And they always were like, whoa, wait, you can like do this. And I was setting up the phone for them, being like, take it right here because I want this picture. Yeah. I could see it in my mind immediately. And I kind of realized, oh, I thought everyone was like this. Like, that's crazy that this is something different. And my post started to do a little bit well in the standpoint of what well was then, which was honestly pretty well. And those kind of started to take off, where I realized maybe this could be something. I never thought it was going to be a career by any means at all. If you told me 4 years ago that I would be doing this as my full-time job, I would literally just stare in disbelief that no way. But my journey was really just completely guided by the Lord. I moved down to Florida January of 2022. And because I graduated college a semester early, I was using social media basically to just rant about basically anything. Was kind of trying to grow it. Maybe had worked with like one brand, Gifted, at this point in time. And I posted this video on TikTok essentially saying, I have no friends. I don't know how people make friends. I am lonely. I moved back to my hometown, but I'm not in my family home. I don't know how to make friends whatsoever. And that video took off and got like 200,000 views. And within that, 200 girls from West Palm area commented on it. Whoa. Actually insane. And it was the most random video of me just getting ready,
It's always the random ones, like, that you don't think, and you're like, wait, I didn't really look that good. Like, can we not make that one go viral?
Exactly. And I can only accredit that to the Lord, that he just completely did that. And through that, I was able to immediately, yes, grow on social media, which was really cool, but grow a community. And I really understood that growing an audience on social media legitimately means nothing unless you have a community. And I was able to have a community online as well as in person. So people were loving that I had this community in person that they were able to watch grow together with me.
Yeah,
so simultaneously, all of my friends grew as well. And people just kind of had eyes on my friend group down here, which was really interesting, but kind of a cool thing in the standpoint of how do you make friends in your 20s? You can just post a TikTok. Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. Social media, like, has cons, obviously, but so many pros when it's used in the right way.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. So I guess tell me, like, what do you post now? Like, do you have a niche? Do you have a specific, like, aesthetic you're going for? Is it just lifestyle? Like, give me a little insight.
Yeah. So shortly after my social media kind of started taking off for community, I realized that was really great, but I was running events-ish here and there. Those events were losing me money all of the time because so many people, I just have a heart for community that I was like, oh, well, I don't want to pay for the event or whatever. I can't afford the event. And I was like, okay.
Like,
simultaneously, I'm going broke. And I'm like, this is just not overly sustainable. And the following year, January of 2023, I moved abroad and was like, okay, this travel content is going to be my niche. And I was so fortunate. Right before that, I'd worked with a hotel in Mexico. I then was able to work with a couple hotels in London, worked with a hotel in Greece. And although my social media was not growing, I realized it legitimately did not matter because my content was good. Yeah. So brands were working with me regardless. And I definitely had some ups and downs the year after that, but now have worked with hotels in Mexico, Nicaragua, Guatemala, really all over, which has been really cool. So now I'm specifically niched down in travel and wellness.
Okay. So when you're working with these hotels, are they paying you to post on your platform, or is it like a UCG where they're like, give me the content so we can use it for our, like, website and social media?
It depends, and it can be whatever you want. You can specify that in a contract of, I'm going to give you X amount of photos, I'm going to give you X amount of videos for your usage. There's hotels that I've worked with that no one has any idea I've worked with because I've never posted them. And there's others that my only requirement was tag us in a couple of stories in exchange for a free stay.
Okay. Is there ever times where you're getting paid to do these?
I've been paid by an airline, and then there's ways to kind of like upcharge at the end of like pay us X amount in order to do that. But there isn't a ton of money in travel, like hotels specifically, but there is money in, one, making commission off of having people book through you, two, in like excursions. So I've made money from like different excursions in different places, and like the rental car or the shuttle or things like that, where if that equates to what my flight would be or more, I then am able to like work with clothing or wellness brands and bring those as well, where I kind of end up making money by going on a trip.
Okay. So is that essentially how you make all your money, or like where is the money coming from to like sustain the lifestyle?
Wellness.
Really?
Literally all the wellness world.
Okay.
I, this time last year, started working a part-time job because I was doing travel, but I was exhausted from traveling and I had no idea really how to make travel a sustainable income. And I looked at my life too, where I really like traveling, but I also want to settle down eventually. I don't want to have to travel for 10 more years. Like if I build an audience around travel, okay, that's really super great. What about when I want to stop traveling? You know?
Yeah.
And I just realized it was really hard to keep that as a sustainable career. And there's people who do it and they do it well. And then they eventually end up selling guides and they teach people how to do it. And that's a really super great option for someone who is already in travel or who does want to fully go into travel. You can teach eventually. That's great. But wellness has been really good because it's been a lot of long-term contracts. So the brands that I work with want to not sign a month contract. They want to sign a 3 or 6 month contract. And that has just been really beneficial because I'm able to learn from the companies. They educate me really super well. And I speak with so much authority rather than, hey, book this hotel or hey, do this on a one-off. It's, I trust this company. I've been using it for 6 months. I can give an actual like good referral.
Yeah. I think it's so interesting how you're talking about, like, I don't want to travel the rest of my life, so am I going to post traveling? Like, your life and your work is so intertwined. Like, how do you keep them separate?
That's a great question. To your first point, I think you have to have a 5-year vision too. Like, what do I want my lifestyle to be and what do I want my business to be in 5 years? Because if you don't do that, you are going to chase after all the quick fixes and the quick, like, hey, this is super trendy right now. I need to do this. The Florida Beach girl 2 years ago was so trendy.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry. I plan on gaining weight or getting pregnant or like whatever else.
Yeah.
Like, those things are really easy to chase to like go viral for a second. But again, what's going to support your community? Coming back to that. Separating the two is so interesting. And it's an ever-changing balance that I think every creator kind of has to figure out. I think for me, when I first got into the wellness and travel things, when I first got into wellness and fitness, I tried to keep them very separate. People always ask me of like, oh, do you want to be a fitness coach or do you want to make fitness classes and things like that? I obviously still share a lot about fitness and a lot about wellness, but I have certain aspects that I will never do on social media. Mm. And I think those are eventually going to change. I'll probably implement new things into my life and then I'll let those other things come into my social media. Whereas I probably will launch something fitness wise in the future. But for the first year of me learning it, I've never once shared a workout at all. Yeah. That's my own separate hobby that, yes, is a part of who I am as a creator, but it's completely separate at the same time. Same thing with like the cooking that I do. I share a little bit of it, but it's for the most part
you're not like sharing separate recipes and
right, exactly. Yeah. I think it's really important as a content creator to have hobbies outside of what you're doing.
Yeah, I was gonna say like that sounds you get burnt out super easy if just like everything you do is the work and like you're posting about everything. Like you almost don't have anything for you anymore.
Right, exactly.
It's like for the audience or
lifestyle,
to get likes.
Lifestyle influencers get burned by that all the time, especially when they're here and they're here. Yeah. A lot of girls are, okay, I need to take a photo, I need to take a TikTok, and I need to take a YouTube video. I was doing all of that for a while.
That's a lot.
Like, what on earth? No, I just need to set something down. I will talk with people. They'll be like, what do you want for your dream honeymoon? I don't care. A week without my phone.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Can we talk about, like, when I can put my phone on Do Not Disturb, the relief I get.
That's another thing. I live on Do Not Disturb, and I don't know how anyone who works in social media doesn't.
Yeah.
If you have all of your notifications on, no.
Nope.
No. You're going crazy.
Yeah. That's hard. So, you talked about contracts. Do you have to know, like, how to write these contracts? Are you like a lawyer too? Like, how does that work?
Gosh, no. Most of the time brands have contracts they send out when working for you. I'll definitely look over them and nitpick them a little bit if they have like brands will often try to write in like they have a year usage when they're just paying you for you to post something. And it's like, no, that usage should be an add-on. Like they should be paying more for them to be able to use that, because then that brand is just going to run ads on that, making them more money based off of your content. You should be compensated for that. So I definitely look out for that in a contract. And then also when I have longer term contracts too, if they decide to get out of the contract for any way, shape, or reason, the company runs out of money. I've had that happen before. I was signed in a 6-month contract, and after 2 months the brand was like, we went out. And I was like, simply because they just ran out of money, not because of anything I did.
Right.
And I had planned, like I plan everything so far in advance that I needed that income. I was living abroad at the time too. And I was like, there's nothing in the contract that says I'm owed even 50% of that.
Right. Like the retainer or like, rest.
So I either make sure that's in there or I have the brand legitimately pay me double. I have a brand that was like, sorry, our client won't do that for 50% more. Are you okay if we just don't do this? And I was like, yeah, but if I catch you using the content, like you cannot use the content,
right?
Even though you're getting the draft early. So I was okay with that there.
Okay. Yeah, that's interesting.
But contracts they can be tricky and it's a learning curve. And even a couple months ago, I completely made content before signing a contract. And that was so dumb of me. I made 5 videos. The brand still hasn't paid me. And they have them. So
yeah, it's like a business. You have to treat it like that.
Yeah, entirely.
Sure. What is your, like, give me a day in the life I'm sure every day is different, but like when you wake up, like how do you have direction? Like do you like plan out your weeks? Do you plan out the day? Like what are you doing when you wake up?
Since I've switched to wellness, this is so different because, which we'll get into and talk about, my priorities within creating content and within being a content creator have completely shifted. They used to be wake up, go through emails, shoot content. That was kind of the gist of it. Now I spend way more time, more than anything else, learning because I want to actually provide value to my audience. And I think that's a layer that most people don't talk about as like part of their day in the life, but it's something every content creator that's niche down should be doing. And for a while that researching used to be like researching algorithm or researching trending reels, and I definitely do a decent amount of that too. But for the most part, it's researching.
Interesting. Okay. And you talked about like niching down, like is that something every influencer has to do in your opinion? Or because like if there's a mix, like you have the people that are full wellness, full just like being a mom, posting cleaning videos, restock videos. Like what is your thoughts on that?
I think if you were starting today, yes, you 1,000,000% need to niche down. I think if you were starting in 2020, you'd be fine just posting a get ready with me, a day in the life, any of that. But now there's so many people on the platform that you have to actually provide value. People don't really care about you unless you're providing value. And then down the road, after you build an audience, sure, people will care about you and you can post a little bit more of your life. But I think if you're starting from 0 followers, you've got to provide value.
You need like that hook to get them in.
Exactly.
And then they become like, they want your personality.
Right. There's 50,000 day in the life videos.
Yeah.
Day in the life of who?
Right.
Content creator?
They don't care.
That's so boring. Awesome. Cool. Like,
yeah.
Wow, you're an influencer. Congrats.
It has to be so different. Like I follow this one girl. She just started posting in January and she's like, her videos are basically like, I want to be an influencer, but like, I don't have a job and like, this is just me. And like, she's like, I don't really buy new things either. So like, here's my lipstick from like 2016. But like, that's her personality. And like, that's why people watch it. I think like she's growing, but it's like, it's just so out of the norm of like, it's not the normal, like, here's my day in the life. Like I go get my matcha and then I go to Pilates. Like nobody cares. Everyone's doing that.
Yeah.
Unless you like love that creator type of thing.
Everyone's literally over that. Everyone's over the influencer lifestyle.
Yeah.
Right now. Like, hey, everyone's struggling to pay bills. I don't really care that you're doing that. Unless you're someone big and all the stuff of you have a big following. But even those people, I feel like they're going to start to decline if they just continue doing those videos. They're not going to be in it for 5+ years unless they're building a business off the back of it. Like, I think Alex Earl's moves of like doing a podcast and having all unwell and not unwell. Yes, unwell. Yeah. Unwell and hot mess and like all of that is so smart because again, you've got to be thinking 5 years ahead.
Yeah. What do you think? Like, there's been a lot of talk of like TikTok's not going to be a thing anymore. Do you see any other platforms on the rise that you could see being as big as TikTok? Or like, what do you think is going to be new? What do you think is going to stay?
Not that I think that's come out yet. If there is, forget everything I've said in this video. Of like, in terms of you can't grow by doing this or whatever else. Like, get on it early. I think that's the best thing people did was to get on TikTok early. But if you had, thanks mom and dad, parents who were like, TikTok is run by China. It's not safe. You can't get on TikTok.
Yeah.
Thank you. I could be a millionaire.
Yeah. Okay, because I've been seeing like different apps come out. Like there was like a Lemonade app that I thought was going to hit. I don't really think it is. I don't know. What's your opinion?
No, and I've posted and worked with Lemonade actually. It's great, but I don't think it's as clickbaity, entertaining. It's got the practicality aspect of it. It was really good for travel. They hired me to do some travel work on Lemonade, but it wasn't, the excitement that TikTok has on it.
Yeah, it's like we almost decide what's going to be cool or not.
Yeah.
As the consumers.
Right.
Which makes sense. It's like anything. But
exactly.
It's interesting to see because I remember when it came out, everyone on TikTok was like, gotta get on this. Like, if you didn't get on TikTok when it was early and you missed out, like, here's your chance. And so I posted a few things and, like, it really didn't go anywhere.
I don't think there will be another photo app that does well. I think it's got to be a video app.
It's got to be videos. People's attention spans are literally, like, Yeah.
So
we got to see like the clickbaity, like people talking, the tea, the juice. Pictures just can't give that, I feel like.
Exactly. But 2 platforms that have been out forever, because I think at the end of the day, yes, new things are great and trendy, but sticking with the OGs are also so good. YouTube Shorts pays really well.
I've heard crazy things about YouTube Shorts.
If you have like X amount of subscribers, I think it's 1,000 subscribers, and it's a decent amount of watch hours, you can make a decent amount of money.
So does it YouTube pay Shorts on Shorts the same way it would pay like for long form videos with like the subscribers?
I don't know, actually. I think it might pay more like Instagram Reels used to.
Okay. Yeah, I heard they used to. They're really good.
So nice. It was so nice. Oh, and I want to talk about that in a second. But also Snapchat as well.
Snapchat.
That's
been really confusing me. What is that? What's going on?
You have to have 1,000 followers on Snapchat, and then I have no idea how much. I've talked to some people who do it. I don't know the exact amount, but if you're posting pretty much daily, like you have to post, I think around 7 stories a day on your public Snapchat story, you can make some pretty decent money. And then once you've hit that threshold too, TikTok will push you. Like you always see on your explore page of Snapchat. I think I just said TikTok of Snapchat people's videos.
Yeah, okay. Because I keep Snapchat for memories. I don't really use it. So if you don't have, how do you get followers? Like if you don't have that and you're not being pushed out.
They say they're supposed to push you.
Okay.
I don't think I've been pushed once. I think you have to legitimately spam it in order for them to start pushing you. Posting so much, where it's super weird because Snapchat is post a ton, whereas Instagram stories, my viewers higher if I'm not posting a ton. And I feel like TikTok, it's like, do you post 10 a day? Do you post 4 a day? I have no idea. With Snapchat, it's the more you post, I guess you get followers.
I've seen creators too that already have platforms. They're like, oh, I'm on Snapchat. And so they kind of promote it on their other platforms, which probably helps them reach that threshold.
Truly, I just probably need to post a TikTok saying like, I'm so close to 1,000. Please follow me on Snapchat so I can start getting paid.
Yeah. I need to start watching your stories. We can become friends on Snapchat.
Yeah, literally.
Snapchat's making a comeback. Okay.
It must be.
That's exciting.
Oh, one thing in relation to that though, because yes, you can make money off Shorts. Yes, you can make money on Snapchat. But 2 years ago, all of my income was coming from Instagram Reels and the Pinterest Creator Fund.
Pinterest Creator Fund?
It was the best thing to ever exist.
Really?
My app is Pinterest. I will forever be a Pinterest girl.
I was going to ask that. What was your favorite app to create on?
Pinterest.
You know what? Times over. I think I've told you this, but before we were like friends, I don't even think we had met yet. I was going through a little mini life crisis, like I like to do about 4 times a year. And I was like, you know what? I had this flight credit from a friend or like a client that I'd worked for. She gave me a flight credit. And I was like, where can I go with this flight credit? And I was like looking up, I really want to go to Portugal. And the flight credit almost matched perfectly to a one-way ticket to Portugal. So I'm on Pinterest, like searching up like what to do in Portugal, where to go. And I'm like, wait a second, I know that girl. It was you.
That's so funny.
I'm like, wait, what?
I love Pinterest.
I don't even think we had met yet.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is a sign. I need to go to Portugal.
So many of my pins do so well, and it's such a slept on app because you can link everything directly to the post.
Yeah.
You know how much commission I've made off of Pinterest?
That's amazing.
Post your travel guides if you have commissionable links. Post the supplements that you get commissioned to. Post the clothes you get commissioned to. You're not going to get a ton of link taps on Instagram stories when you're first starting out. But Pinterest, no one knows who you are.
Right. They don't care. They're just looking for what they're the consumers looking to buy.
Pinterest is the best search engine. People are looking for something specific when they go on there a good amount of the time. If they're searching. If they're scrolling, of course, they're just looking for aesthetic things. But it's so searchable.
Yeah. I've actually seen people do Amazon, like, you know how you like take the pictures and like block out the background and put it all on a whiteboard and like make an outfit?
Mm-hmm.
I've seen those on Pinterest, and then when you click on it, it goes to their Amazon storefront.
Yep.
That's genius.
Super smart.
What?
Yeah. And then for like SEOs and using keywords, ChatGPT will be your best friend.
Okay, yeah.
Describe the picture, ask for keywords. Great.
That's a good one. Is there any other apps that you use that aren't like the social platforms that help you in your job?
Oh gosh. I use CapCut on a daily basis. used to use Lightroom a lot. Now I don't too much. I don't really edit my photos whatsoever. Trying to think what else. Those are really the two main ones that I use nowadays.
I have a juicy question.
Yeah.
Have you ever Facetuned your pictures?
Back in the day, absolutely. I used to whiten my teeth all the time. But on this current account, actually, yes. I used to be blonde, and my dang blonde hair was horrible. My roots would grow in. My hair is naturally so dark.
Yeah.
My roots would grow in. I hated my roots. So I would edit my roots every single time.
I love that.
To be blonde. And you could tell.
Yeah. Sometimes I use it to take out my blemishes. I have no shame. You know? People, they're like, wait, you have acne? I'm like, oh, yeah. But I'm planning to do like a full like acne reveal.
Yeah.
But, like when I want to post a cute picture, I'm like, this large pimple on my forehead is really just not giving. Yeah. So, you know, it's for you guys.
It's for your own sanity.
It's for your own sane. All right, kind of changing subjects, but kind of not. What is the world of being friends with like other influencers?
So like I mentioned beforehand, when my social media took off, so did my whole friend groups. That was the most interesting thing to go through. And I handled so many things wrong within trying to navigate that, because all of a sudden you're looking at your friends and they're now your coworkers.
Yeah.
And now being established enough in the industry, it's more coworkers into friends, which is nice because you know what you're getting yourself into. But at the beginning, when everyone started taking off, it was, hey, can I steal this email? Hey, can I have this? Hey, can you tag me in your post? Hey, can you get me a brand deal? Can I get this? And it was so, you were using one another, and it was okay, but it wasn't okay, but it was. And with certain friendships, that was fine. Like, if it's a really close friend of mine, here, please take whatever.
Yeah.
But friends who maybe are in your friend group but aren't necessarily as close, who only talk to you when they want advice on how to grow on Instagram, but you're in this friend group together, it's really awkward.
Yeah. It's almost what they call it, like clout chasing.
Exactly. And I've like even heard girls say before of they meet me and then they'll say to a friend of like, oh, I would have been so much nicer to her if I knew she had a following.
Oh, lovely.
Oh. Or like I would have wanted to be friends with her if I would have known. Oh.
That's insane.
Okay. So I never, if I'm in a social setting, will lead with, oh, I have an audience on social media whatsoever, especially in dating. But that's a whole nother aspect there. I've even had guys be like, hey, can you give me pointers on my Instagram? No.
Are you kidding me?
I'm not on the clock, babe. Literally Chad.
Chad's my name, if we haven't found that out by now. But, oh my gosh. Chad should not have an Instagram. I'm sorry.
Chad's Instagram should look like crap or else he's a red flag.
It should be his dog, his grandma, and you. Like.
Exactly.
Oh, gosh. Okay. Wow.
It's actually insane.
Yeah.
But friendship, I would definitely say being friends with influencers, set really clear expectations. And I think you need to over communicate in those relationships of these are the times we put our phone down and we are friends, or we're allowed to pick up our phone and do this. And I think it's really great to have friends within the community. I have friends who do it full time too. And it's great because I feel bad asking friends of mine who are just friends to take photos 24/7, honestly. And that's probably where a lot of people wanting a community in the influencer space comes from, is that guilty feeling. I feel like everyone's been told, oh, you take too many photos by one person or another in their lifetime, especially if you're someone in this interested in content creation at all. So it is really nice to have those friends. But I think if you look at a lot of the relationships online and you ask people on a deeper level, hey, when's the last time you had a deep conversation with those people? They'll probably say never.
Yeah.
And they might look like the best of friends on social media. And I'm totally stereotyping, so don't take this as everyone. But a lot of times those friendships are not rooted in really deep community unless you set that expectation, because it's a lot easier to just be friends that take pictures than talk about something deep.
Yeah. Ooh, that's good. Woo! Okay, to wrap this up, you gave so many good pointers, but if somebody is looking to be an influencer and they want to start today, like, give me some pointers on what they can start doing, what they can start looking at, they can start thinking about.
Definitely write down your why. I am a mission statement girl to a T.
Ooh, I like that.
If you go into it just wanting to be famous on social media or something like that, you're going to get burnt out really quickly.
That was me.
Yeah. Having a why behind why you're doing what you're doing, that's a lot deeper than I want to make money or I want to do this, but actually rooted in helping people in some way, shape, or form is really kept me going back to this. There's been times where I've picked up a part-time job and I've decided, hey, am I going to stick this out or not? Once I found wellness and then the community aspect as well, those two things really kept me in this career and kept me coming back even on the off days where I hated everything about this. So that would probably be my first piece of advice. The next is consistency. I mean, everyone says it, but there's a lot of platforms to cover. Like, focus on one as your main platform. Post on all of them, see what works. Some people have better luck on TikTok. I do not. TikTok does not like me. I have given up on TikTok as like a social media like job thing.
Yeah.
My TikTok's for me now. I don't care.
I love that.
Also, I think it's okay to have a social media platform just be for you as well if you're trying to grow a business on Instagram and then you have your TikTok as fun or vice versa. I know lots of people who have a big TikTok audience, but their Instagram's like just a personal Instagram. That's totally fine too. Mm-hmm. I think also if someone is kind of a little further into this and they're trying to figure out how to make money and how to make this a sustainable career, plan ahead. Don't approach the month of September and say, how am I going to make money this September? Absolutely not. Everything should be planned at least a month in advance. That was some of the best advice I got before quitting my job because it's really freaky financially of taking on this job. And that's a whole tangent I could go into, but certain months I'm making a ton of money. The next month I'm making nothing. The holidays are really big times of making money financially. Sometimes summers are slow. Brands have bigger budgets at different times. Know your quarters. Like there's quarters of the year. Brands have different budgets based on the quarter, and make sure you're pitching to brands before that quarter too. Yeah. Brands budgets. I'm even pitching now. It's August and brands are like, oh, sorry, we're filled up for the year. Okay.
Interesting. I wouldn't even think about that.
Yeah. I think the fact that I have a background in public relations has helped me so much within this career. And also if you are going to school, studying public relations and knowing the other side of it, because I went to school to understand how to be these brands I'm talking to.
Right.
So I know their brains.
Know the other side, yeah.
I know exactly what they're saying and I know how to actually make a difference for them. The last thing I will say, which I'm launching a guide of like how to work and travel, and I say this over and over and over in the guide, is to leave this community better than you found it. And by that, I really mean don't work with brands that you can't provide value for.
Ooh, yeah, that's a good one.
I get so sick of people just being in this for the money. Go work another job. Just go simply do it.
You've, I think, touched on this with like the TikTok shop in the wellness industry. Like they're promoting these candida cleanses. I've seen it too all over my page. And it's like, oh, it's going to do more harm than good if you don't even know what is going on. Or if you even have that diagnosis. Yeah. Like, no.
It's going to do more harm for good in the world, i.e. this candida cleanse that you have to go on a whole candida diet. Anyways, that's a whole nother tangent, which I probably have a TikTok sitting in my drafts ranting about that anyways. It's going to do more harm for good in your relationship with the brands and your relationship with brands in general because you're not giving them an ROI. Brands have to evaluate their success of where they spend every single dollar. Do you want them to actually look at you and say, well, that didn't work? Like,
right.
That's horrible. Like, you're going to run out of brands to work with at some point in time. Don't work with the brands that don't align with your audience. Simply don't do it. And then the last negative thing it's going to do is ruin your relationship with your audience. If you're promoting things that you don't actually believe in and you don't actually back, your audience might still follow you, but they're not going to engage with you. They're not going to see it as a trusted community, and they're never going to shop your links even when you do like a product in the future.
Yeah, I listened to this podcast. I don't know if I want to out it, but she has a very, very, very big brand. Everyone would know what it is. It's in all the stores. And she has a wellness podcast. But in her new products are all of the ingredients that she talks about in her podcast that aren't good for you.
But you can out Bloom.
Yeah.
I'll help Bloom.
Oh, see, like, it's so hard because I see her on her podcast and I'm like, how? Like, is she meaning to do it, or is her company just too big? And I think that does happen. Like, you have this intention. Like, I don't know if it's her intention to do that, so I feel bad being like, what the hell? But like, also, if it's your brand, you also have control.
Right, exactly.
So, yeah, that makes me sad. And it also is like, who do you trust? Like, the second, like, I would want to trust everything she says on the podcast because she brings great people on and great information. But now I can't because she's saying one thing and doing the complete opposite.
Yep.
It's hard.
It's so hard. Yeah. It's just really be truthful with your audience, especially because we live in cancel culture. Mm-hmm. Be canceled for something you actually believe in.
Yeah.
You're going to get canceled. Please. You're going to get haters. Be hated on for something you believe in, not something you don't actually care about.
Yeah.
Because what the heck is that going to do?
I'm taking this advice as well. If you guys are listening and taking advice, like, I'm literally writing it on notes because I like posted here and there. Like, I've never stayed consistent, but it was always like I was trying to portray a certain life. And it's like, I genuinely just like want to get on and start like posting my life kind of for me. Like, it's not even like I'm trying to grow anything anymore. So I think you gave really good pointers, really good insight. If someone is looking to be an influencer, this is a really good episode to share with them or listen to, take notes. Thank you, Mackenzie, for being in the hot seat.
Of course. It was so much fun. Happy to share literally anytime. But thank you guys for listening to this episode and hearing a little bit about this. This guide that I said I'm launching, it is live by the time this episode comes out.
I was going to say, plug it. Where do we find it?
It is 120 pages of...
Guys, I've seen this guide. First of all, it's aesthetically beautiful. I'm like, how did you create this? And then the content, the information, like, there's guides out there that they have, okay, the basics. You can probably chat GPT it and like figure it out. This is like these things that you will actually take, the tangible takeaways, my favorite phrase, that you can like actually take and put into your business or put into your new influencing career and use right away. Like, it's stuff you're going to use and it teaches you how to use it. So I think you did a really good job. I'm really excited for this to come out.
Thank you. I feel like I still have such imposter syndrome with working with hotels and working in travel, but it's something I wish I would have had years ago because I have bought probably 20 guides from different creators. And this gives like exactly my portfolio. It gives a list of brands to reach out to. It gives what you should be saying over Instagram, over email, over the phone. Lainey, my photographer best friend, she gives pointers on how to take certain photos. She gives like 60 different photos of that we took for 2 different resorts. We went on this trip in February specifically to build this guide so that we could show you guys how to take the right photos when you're at hotels too. So to say there's tangible takeaways would be an understatement, and it's available probably in the link in my bio would be the best way to find it on my Stan store. But I'm really excited for you guys to get your hands on it and hopefully it help you guys make interest that you have a career.
Yes. And where can they find you? On Instagram, TikTok?
It's all at Mackenzie with 2 E's, Marsh. And it'll be in the show notes as well.
I love it. Awesome. Well, thank you so much again. I'm really excited. And let's chat soon.
Bye, guys.